I really, really want to give you some powerful tools and hopefully inspire you to start working with the medicine and the magic and the potency of that space that is your dream time. Come on, army of lucid dreamers, let's go. Let's go change the world, and let's use the medicine and the magic of our dreams to fuel that. We gotta sleep. We may as well have fun in that sleep time. We may as well be healing. And I really do believe that our healing is all interconnected. When we heal something in ourselves, we heal something in that collective consciousness. That's powerful stuff. What a divine privilege it is to be here with you today. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is lucid dreaming. Yeah, I've got a lot to say around this topic. I have 4 guided meditations out here on Insight Timer to aid and assist with lucid dreaming and with dream work. And working with my dreams is hands down one of the most potent spaces for spiritual journey, receiving messages, connecting with your guides, connecting with your ancestors, receiving gifts from the universe. It's been such a profound tool in my personal journey of growth, and I so love to share and to talk about dreams and to help people to tap into the magic of that space, because really the truth is that every single one of us, well, I've read one study that says something like 0.06% of people truly don't dream. I'm not entirely convinced, but maybe there's like a tiny percentage of people who don't really dream. But for the most part, it's incredibly natural, it's normal, we all do it. And, you know, we can't tie dreaming down as something logical or rational. It's you can't grip it, you can't hold it. It's inherently mystical and magical, and I think that's one of the most exciting parts about it. But nobody can deny that dreams exist. So I'm very excited about this conversation today. So for those of you who are here, drop us a word, say hello, let us know in the comments if you have ever had like a really strange dream or a recurring dream, or if you've ever received an interesting message through a dream space. Maybe you've been visited by a loved one who's passed on already. Maybe you just had like a very strange dream about a specific symbol or an animal. Share a little bit something here in the comments about your own experience with dreams. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, I don't really dream. And I want to say 99.99999% of those people do really dream. They're just not in the practice of remembering the dream, so they're not waking up at that right time. Or some people will say, oh, I sometimes remember a little bit and then I forget. That's completely normal. There are practices that we can bring in to start remembering those dreams. I have recorded dreams for years on and off. I stopped periods because all my dreams were almost the same. Stress or negativity. It's however started to finally change. Yes, wonderful to have a seasoned dream worker here. You can give us a little bit of a vote of confidence there around, because why would you be recording your dreams if you were not getting valuable information? You know, I listened to a podcast a while ago. It was by a professor, so someone with a doctorate in psychology who has been studying dreams for more than 20 years. And he said that his research of over 20 years has shown him, and he's been looking at his own dreams and other people who record their dreams for very long periods of time. And what he found is that dreams of premonition are very, very common. Very, very common. We often even dream of something that happens on the exact day that it'll happen, say, the year after, or 2 years after, or 3 years after. So I started actually, just every now and then when I think of it, looking back into my dream archive and checking, well, what did I dream this day 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? And I just reflect, and it's very interesting to see those lines coming together. So that's one exciting, interesting kind of thing that we can tap into. And I think one of the most powerful things that provides for us is that we're somehow connected to a knowing, to an intelligence. And there's an innate intelligence within us that maybe is not our ego consciousness, but is that part of us that connects us to all that is. And at least that's how I see it, right? Of course, there's room here for multiple perspectives. And I think really where I'd love to begin this discussion is, what are dreams? And please let me know, what are dreams? Like, what do you think dreams are? How do you define dreams? Like, what is the substance dreams are made of? Like, what exactly is it? Like, we know that it's something that happens mostly when we go to sleep. Sometimes it happens when we're not asleep. But what exactly are dreams? I definitely dream. Don't always remember, but there were also dreams that were very vivid and all over the place that don't seem to make sense, to be fair. And of course, all of our dream landscapes can look so different. So anything I say about dreams could not apply to you, or could apply to someone else, but not to you. So I really invite in a lot of, take it all with a grain of salt. Here we are working with opening doors of possibility. We're exploring, but nothing I say about this really undefinable thing. And of course, me asking you to define dreams is a little bit of a trick question, because I don't think we truly can. I do think one of the defining factors, ironically, of the dream space is that it can be kind of scattered all over the place, warpy. I mean, I don't know how many of you, but almost always my dreamscape is both inside and outside at the same time, right? Like indoors and outdoors. And the building, if it's a building or a ship or whatever, it's, if I'm on a ship, it's like, it's a cargo ship, but it's a hotel ship, but it's also like a scuba diving ship at the same time. If I'm in a massive building, it can be like a hospital and a school, but an office block at the same time. It's very interesting. And it's especially interesting to ask ourselves, like, when things are more than one thing. Like, how many of you have had a person in your dream, and it's the same person throughout the dream, but that person is like 2 or 3 people It's this person and it's that person. And then you kind of ask, well, how in my perspective, like through my own psyche, my own psychology, what is the similarity really between like school, office, and hospital? A place of growth, a place of maybe healing, or a place you go to when you're feeling traumatized, or some kind of prison. There are still similar archetypes between those things. And when we're inquisitive enough to dig a little bit deeper, we can actually find the threads between the seemingly incoherent symbols. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is to listen to people's dreams and sit and decode them. But today's session is not about decoding. Today, I really, really want to give you some powerful tools and hopefully inspire you to start working with the medicine and the magic and the potency of that space that is your dream time. Dreams are showing us the subconscious, language and symbols. I love that definition. Thank you for sharing. Yes, and seeing and being a person at the same time. Right? It's so interesting how that can happen. So let's talk a little bit about your definition that you've given us there. That's quite a psychological definition. So those of you who have been following me for a while, if you've listened to any of my lectures or conversations, You will know that I always like to look at things through multiple lenses. I like to have a point of view of the world which allows me to look at it like this and this and this and this, and they can be completely different ways of looking at it, and they don't need to be in dispute. So this sort of psychological way of looking, right? We can look at dreams as us literally being in our subconscious mind, in our psychology, and we can see like what's going on beneath the surface. What is the health of our mind? And I guess if you believe in the connection between, mind, psyche, body, soul, the health of our soul as well. And sure, the language of the dream space, the language of the subconscious is absolutely symbols. And, now that we talk about symbols, one of the most fascinating things that I find that people do when they have a dream, and there's like this very vivid dream, and they had these symbols, and then off they go to Google or a book on dreams, and they're like, what does it mean when I dream about a fish, for example? And that for me is the biggest no-no, because it's your subconscious, it's your psyche. Of course, if we're looking through that psychological lens, you therefore are the key. You are the key to unlocking those symbols, because your psychology, your subconscious, is going to speak to you in a very specific way, a specific way to you. So the best thing for you to do is to sit down and ask yourself, well, what does a fish or a train or a whale or a bed or a box or a room or a school or that person in particular, what does that mean to me? What does that invoke for me? You absolutely are the key to that symbolic language. And let's dig a little bit deeper into that psychological lens, because, if we look even maybe through a medical psychological lens, you might describe the dream time as a time when the brain is pumped full of DMT, which produces hallucination. So we can talk about the dreams just as, hallucinations. And of course, as a psychic and a medium and a mystic and someone who works with all of those magical things and has obviously a profound belief in the power and the potency of these doorways, I'm going to argue, just gently, because I don't mind if we call it a hallucination. But of course, even if we look through a scientific lens at our experience of the world around us, that too is a hallucination, right? You dig just a little bit into some quantum physics, we know what we're experiencing right now is just a hallucination, right? And you even think in terms of the brain. We receive this input from the senses, right? Smell, taste, touch, etc. That's filtered through our belief system. All of this information is received into the brain. And by the way, we can only see a small spectrum of the light. We can only hear a small spectrum of sound, right? The input into our brain it's only this much. So what we perceive as some kind of holographic image of the world around us is not the innate truth, but of course becomes our truth, the way we perceive. And what we believe and what we think and what we're focusing on and how we're feeling that day and our past experiences and our ancestry and our society, right? Our traditions, what we've been taught in this life, all of that has a profound influence on the hallucination that is created. And the thing is, when we're in our waking life, we're mostly identifying with that ego identity self, which we know is not the fullness of who we are. And the power of penetrating into the subconscious through paying attention to your dreams is that you get to see, where is it that I'm actually lying to myself? I mean, how many of us are going, oh, I'm fine, oh, I'm okay, da 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 da, not letting myself cry. And then you're having disturbing dreams. What is it that you're not allowing yourself to process, to feel? And of course, through a psychological lens, dreams have been theorized as very important for being able to process what we refuse to process in waking life, and finding those clues is really, really powerful. Now, I do want to drop the psychological, medical, logical, rational. Is there a logical, rational way to look at something so illogical and irrational as hallucinating while our eyes are closed? And I'd like to bring in a more sacred, spiritual lens. And I'll be borrowing from multiple different traditions here. But across the ages, we know that there've pretty much always been dreams, and that the person who can cross into the dream realm and bring back information from the other side, right? i.e., go into the dream state in a lucid manner, i.e., awake in the dream state, and can bring back information that is beneficial for the tribe or the community. Those are your healers and shamans. The person who is able to tap into the medicine of dreams. How else can we define what dreams are? And again, I'm going to say it's undefinable. So all of these words are just pointers pointing to something that we all do that we can't fully comprehend. Is it a doorway to the spirit realm? Is it a doorway to the astral realms? Is it a doorway to the universe, to our truth, to any and all information we may need and require? How else is it that so many can dream an event before it happens? From my own experience and from all of the teachers that I have worked with across the years, I will tell you my opinion about why I think working with dreams is so powerful and how it has aided me in my own life. Of course, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying it's definitely going to do this for you. Your dreamscape is going to be entirely different to mine or anyone else's. And I think that should be more of a reason to explore it than any other, because who knows what might unlock for you in that space. It's yours, right? I think it's one of the most powerful ways for us to access healing energy. And in fact, I think working with nightmares and, let's say, disturbing dreams is one of the most potent ways for us to do that work. It is one of the most direct points of access that we have to receiving messages from our guiding spirits, if you like those words or those definitions, if you believe in spirit. Of course, you don't have to. The amount of spirits that I have met in the dream realms that have gifted me tools for healing, for energy work, how to move energy, the experiential processes that I've moved through in the dream space has helped me to integrate spiritual teachings. You know, you read about teachings, you're like, oh, it makes sense. But now it's like this concept up here. And it's one thing to have this like concept where it's like, yeah, okay, right? Like logically, that makes sense. I've read it, it's ethical, okay. For example, oneness. We're all connected. But I mean, right now I'm in this body, I feel like I'm a separate being. But experiences in the dream realms can help you to integrate knowledges that you've learned in a way that brings it into the core of your knowing, core of your being, and accelerates your life in such potent, powerful ways. You can literally speak to your dreams and ask for answers. And trust me, when you start listening to your dreams will answer. For me, the dream space has also given me powerful gifts in terms of energetic activations within myself. It has allowed me to increase my psychic ability. It has allowed me to tap into mediumship. It has allowed me to receive messages for loved ones. It has allowed me to, to understand situations, challenging situations that are showing up in my life through a different lens. It has allowed me greater ease in forgiveness. It is hands down one of the most powerful spaces to work with. And so I hope that's enough to get you a little bit excited about the prospects of beginning to tap into your dreams. And so how do you begin to work with your dreams? Well, step one is you got to remember your dreams. So how do you remember your dreams? And there we go. Dreams and creativity. Well, I love that you've mentioned that, and I'm not sure if you meant it in this capacity, but many artists, scientists, yes, people, scientific discovery is also a creative act. And, inventors have received divine and profound insights through their dreams. I don't know about the resource of this information, so take it with a grain of salt. But I can remember reading somewhere that Einstein discovered E=mc², right, his famous equation of relativity, through a dream. And of course, many artists have been inspired by their dreams. Nightmares are my fears that I don't allow during the day. Yes, absolutely, the suppressed fears, right, the ones we don't confront, or the ones that are really tormenting us. And I think the powerful thing about nightmares, I've actually done an entire talk on nightmares here on Inside Timer before. It's one of my favorite topics, because for me, some of the greatest gifts have come through nightmares, and many of my nightmares have actually been transmuted into some of my most powerful lucid dreams. And in fact, one of my favorite ways to get lucid, because nightmare images is one of the easiest ways to go, whoa, this is not normal waking life. They're not normally big scary monsters and snakes that size and spiders that size and whatever other scary things you see in dreams. And I think when you're frightened, it's a lot easier to become hyper aware of your environment because your heart's pounding. That's what happens when we get scared. And so you have the opportunity to realize, oh, this is a dream. It's a nightmare dream. And then you get to go, okay, well, what can we do with this? I know it's a dream, so therefore I must be safe. I'm safe in my bed. So this is me and my mind, me and my fears. Nothing can harm me here. So let's go face that scary thing. Because most of the time we're running away, aren't we? And often you'll find it'll shrink. You can ask it, hey, can I help you? Would you like a hug? Very powerful what we can do with dreams, nightmares, yes. I rarely remember a dream, but remember the feeling, usually fear. So I'm going to give you some tools for tapping into dream recall, and it is so simple. And it's just going to start with intention setting, right? All spiritual practices start with intention setting. So surprise, dream work. We tap into intention setting before bed. We're going to go, hello dreams, talk to your dreams directly. How you doing? So excited to journey with you tonight. Really want to remember my dreams. Place your hands over your heart and just say, I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams, as many times as you like. And of course, you can use your own words. So I have 2 dream recall practices. So the one that is free, i.e. not the premium content, I think it's called Meditation to Invoke Lucid Dreaming and Good Dream Recall. So that's kind of a 2-in-1 dream recall invocation and lucid dreaming invocation. So if you want to listen to that, please be kind to me, because that is literally the second meditation that I ever made. It's not my best quality. I mean, I was very proud of it when I made it. I was a baby. I'm much better at making beautiful sounding meditations now. But you can even just tap into that one, let yourself fall asleep to it, try it for 7 nights, learn the process yourself, take it over yourself, or you can keep tapping into that one. That one's free, okay? You're welcome to play with that. But of course, you don't have to. You can also do it by yourself. So these are the keys. Set your intention. Will it in. You can say it in different words. You can use your own words. Get excited and climb into bed with this energy of reverence, right? This is sacred space. This is where I'm going to heal my body. This is where I'm going to rest. This is where my body's going to get all the energy that it needs, etc., etc. And the moment you wake up in the morning, while you're still half asleep, you need to start recalling your dreams. The second you realize, I'm starting to wake up, close your eyes back down and go, where was I? What was I dreaming? What was going on? Where was I? And just start to recall, start to remember, let the images flood through, okay? You might just get a little hint of a feeling for a few days. That's fine. Stay with the practice. Keep doing it. The more you let your dreams know that you're interested, that you want to remember, the better this will be. And it's amazing. But it normally takes me 4 days of conscious practice before I go, whoop, I'm remembering 7 dreams, 7 separate dreams. Now, I've been practicing this for many years. It might take you a little bit longer, but don't give yourself a time. Just stick it out. Do it, right? You might forget to record your dreams in the morning, but run through the dreams first. Remember them, remember them, remember them, and then grab your dream journal, write them down, or if you prefer, you can make voice notes. Personally, my morning scroll handwriting is just illegible, and I much prefer to do a voice note. So I have a whole voice note audio recording archive of all of my dreams for, I can't remember how many years I've been doing it, but it's a good few years. And it is honestly some of the most fascinating content. I love sitting and listening to my dreams and tapping into them. And you will start to notice patterns. And when you start noticing patterns, you'll start to notice, when I'm really happy, my dreams have this character, or that kind of energy shows up, or this symbol always shows up when I'm happy, and when I'm feeling a bit disturbed, or I'm not sleeping well, or whatever it is, then these kinds of symbols show up. And it just opens doorways for self-reflection and deeper understanding. So that is step 1. You got to start making a dream archive. You got to start recalling your dreams, because you can't work with your dreams if you're not going to remember them. Okay? There is not really much point in lucid dreaming practices if you don't have a practice of remembering your dreams. So on my premium content, what I did is I have made much better recordings, and I have one that is for invoking good dream recall. So you can start with that practice, start building up a dream recall practice, start getting into the habit of recording your dreams when you wake up in the morning. And once that starts to become a habit, then you can start moving on to the lucid dreaming and start playing with that. Now, for some of you, just the fact that you're listening to a conversation today about lucid dreaming may mean that you actually just go to sleep tonight and have a lucid dream. Because for some people, it is that easy, okay? And in fact, lucid dreaming is so normal. I just also want to demystify it a little bit, because especially in spiritual circles, when people talk about lucid dreaming, it's like this golden egg up here, like this trophy we've got to climb towards. And studies have shown that it's a normal part of brain development. Every single child between the age of 6 and 16 reports lucid dreaming. And the thing is, they just don't really have the language for it. And in a westernized culture, of course, in indigenous cultures, dreams are a lot more revered and still very respected. And I do think we need to bring this back if it's been lost for you. But, having grown up in quite a westernized culture myself, maybe you didn't, dreams are not really spoken of. They're just kind of brushed off for, it was just a nightmare, we don't talk about it. It's not something that we work with. And I think when we start paying attention and the dreams start talking and we start using the tools, I think such amazing things can unlock. Do you work with exhausting stress dreams in the same way as nightmare? They seem meaningless to me since I've dreamt the same so long. Of course, also been stuck in life, but want to be open to the keys if there are any in my dreams. I'm getting the sense that you're actually lucid in these dreams. You're getting bored, it's repetitive, it's exhausting, it's over and over. And yes, of course, you've already acknowledged there's a reflection in terms of your own life. So your dreams are asking you to do something about your waking life, to shift things up, to make it more exciting. But working on the dream level, when you become lucid in that dream, i.e. you go, I've dreamt this many times, it's the boring dream, And okay, well, now let's play with this dream. Let's see, what could we do? And maybe you can sit down and meditate in that dream and see if you can meditate on your heart space and see where that leads you. Maybe your heart space becomes a doorway to somewhere else. Maybe you can stand in that dream and go, okay, I hear you dream. Hello, I see the images. What are you telling me? Or you can stand there and go, guides, I call you in. Tell me what I need to learn from this repetitive dream. Or you can talk to the dream directly. So many powerful ways to embrace that. The next step, you can bring a habit into your daily waking life where you constantly check if you're dreaming. Okay, now I'm just going to tell you, a lot of people report having great success with this technique. Personally, and I have practiced it and I've tried it, and I do still sometimes practice it and try it, it's never actually invoked a lucid dreaming for me personally. However, I do think it's worth sharing because it does work for a lot of people, and it has worked for a lot of my students whom I teach these practices to. So some of the kinds of techniques that you can do, a very popular one is to look down at your hands. And you can do it all the time. Every time you look at your hands, just ask, am I dreaming? And check, just check. What do your hands look like? Do they look normal? Because trust me, you look down at your hands when you're dreaming, they're kind of weird and warpy. They don't look normal. It's not the same body. It is your body, but it's not your body. It's dream body, right? It's a different body. So when you bring that habit into your daily life of going, am I dreaming? And another one is to check the time. So if you wear a watch, you can check the time. Or if you wear an elastic band around your wrist, you can just snap the elastic band, because if you do that in dream realm, it's not going to hurt. Okay? You can do things like check light switches. Notoriously, a lot of people report that light switches don't work in dreams. So if you're ever in a room, just check the light switch, and that's a quick dream check, right? Notoriously, most people report they cannot see numbers in dreams. I have heard one or two people say that they have dreamt about numbers and that they can see the numbers. But, we don't know if they can actually see the numbers or if they hear the numbers. But there's something about strangeness around numbers in dreams. Try asking or giving directions to check if you're dreaming. If someone can give you coherent directions somewhere, you're awake. If it doesn't make any sense to you, you're in dreamland. If you're trying to give directions to somewhere you really know how to get, and you're like, and your brain does a little, because time and space and numbers do not exist in the same way in real world, or at least what we call this waking life, as they do in the multi-dimensional realms of dreamland. Again, if you have a dream recording practice, right, where you're listening to your dreams, you're recalling your dreams, you're writing your dreams down, you already have a good understanding of the kinds of symbols that show up in your dreams and the kinds of things that come up frequently in your dreams that may not show up in real life. Now, for me, this is a more powerful technique for becoming lucid, other than what I already mentioned in terms of nightmares. If I have a nightmare, I become lucid and I have the best time ever. It's always such a powerful turnaround for me. But having an understanding of symbols that show up all the time in my dreams, for example, water, in weird ways, like I'll be sitting having a cup of tea and then there's like snakes on the floor and then like the room fills with water and then I'm like swimming through the water. Like, it's kind of not normal that when I'm sitting drinking tea that suddenly the room is flooding. And of course, in dreams, we're so asleep, we're not lucid, that anything can happen and it's just fine. Like a fish can float past And it's just like, oh, a fish floated past. And then only when we wake up and go, a fish was floating past. So that's kind of strange. But when we start bringing those symbols into the real world and going, flying fish? Next time I see a flying fish, I will just question my reality, right? And you would think that you would do that, but you don't. So water, when I notice a lot of water surrounding me, I often become lucid. Another dream symbol for me is orcas, actually, killer whales. When they show up, I know I'm dreaming. Snakes is another one. When snakes show up, I know I'm dreaming. So when you start to acknowledge recurring dream symbols that often come through in your specific dreams, right? Because you're a unique individual, you can start making note like, this is something that happens often in my dreams. So the next time that happens, right? So you planted those seeds. You're like, next time I see that flying fish, or the next time I'm on a flying train, or whatever it is, I'll question my reality. There's a popular technique where people will set their alarm. Now, this is not something that I personally practice because I value my sleep so much. But this is one of the easiest ways to become lucid in your dreams. Depending on what time you go to bed, if you go to bed at a decent hour, about 4 to 5 hours into your sleep cycle is when you're going to be in your deep dream state. That's REM, R-E-M, rapid eye movement. This is when you're having the most vivid dreams of the night. If you set an alarm for that time, wake up. You know when you wake up and you just want to go back to sleep? So you switch off your alarm, go back to sleep, but you're like, I'm awake, go back to dreamland. But you go back into dreamland with the consciousness, I'm going back into dreamland. And you can often jump straight back into the same dream because you're in that deep space. So you don't wake up fully, you just, okay, I'm going to check if I'm dreaming, right? Dive back in. You can even set that alarm for every 10 minutes throughout that section to increase your chances of becoming lucid, so that you practice going in and out between the realm of consciousness into, I don't know if I want to call it unconsciousness, let's call it waking to dream space. Although I suppose when you're not conscious in your dream space, we can call that unconscious dreaming. So we want to go from conscious waking into conscious dreaming, right? So those are some of the tools for becoming lucid that I'd like to give you, other than, of course, setting the intention to be awake in your dreams and to just have that consistent practice of understanding your dreams, listening to your dreams, recording your dreams, having the willfulness to be awake, and the practice, this is another key, the practice of being present in your waking life will often carry through to you being present in your sleeping life, or when you're awake in a different realm. I can use my useless dreams to remember I'm dreaming. The repetitive dreams are then a gift. And that's what we call transmutation, baby. Yes, you got it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. This is literally my teaching around nightmares, because that's literally what nightmares have been for me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay the terror, the horror, I understand people have horrific dreams. I've had horrific dreams. This is why I learned how to become lucid, through my horrific dreams. And they have become the most powerful gifts, honestly. And that is a profound teaching for waking life as well. Because can we not take the horrors of our life, right? The challenges, the difficulties, and go, okay, let me become lucid right now. Let's wake up. Let's be conscious. What can we do with this? How can I turn this into a blessing? How can I transmute this energy, and where does my power lie? And I think actually that's one of the most powerful gifts about becoming lucid in your dream space, because when you start to play with the dreams, when you start to take control of the dreams, when you start to fly and breathe water and bend fire and take control of things, and you're a ninja flying through the air, you are so powerful. And that feeling of power awakening within your soul when you carry that into this waking life and you walk with that energy of, I am sacred, I am powerful, I can make anything happen, and you pair that with spirituality and consciousness and a good set of ethics and some service to humanity, people, we could be unstoppable. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Right? Come on, army of lucid dreamers, let's go. Let's go change the world. And let's use the medicine and the magic of our dreams to fuel that. We gotta sleep. We may as well have fun in that sleep time. We may as well be healing. And I really do believe that our healing is all interconnected. When we heal something in ourselves, we heal something in that collective consciousness. We heal something that is part of the tapestry of all is one. That's powerful stuff. So let's give just a few little seeds around working with the content of your dreams beyond lucid dreaming. Because when you're lucid in your dreams, you can just ask your dream, what do you mean? Right? Tell me what you mean. What symbol is this? Why are you showing me this symbol? And you can go down some very interesting journeys. But if you're just having your normal dreams and you're recording your dreams, you're getting these symbols, what do you do with that? Again, your foundation is you're recording the dreams. So you've got some kind of archive of the symbols, you've got some understanding of what's coming through. You're certainly remembering some of the dreams, at least some things, what's kind of happening. Because without that, we've got nothing to decode. But once you recognize, oh, here's a dream or a specific symbol or a recurring dream that I would really like to understand and unpack. Okay, and I've already said to you, don't go to Google, please. Don't look it up in the Dream Encyclopedia. Don't look up what does this symbol mean, because you're going to find an article that's written by someone else that's specific to them or their culture. Ask, what does it mean for me? Okay, and I'm going to teach you a practice that you can do, and it's a meditation practice. Okay, step 1 is to go and meet your dream guide. Now, of course, if you're already lucid in the dream space, you can do that in the dream space. Next time you're lucid, you can go, hey, dream guide, I'd really like to meet you. And call the dream guide in and say hi and have a conversation, get to know your dream guide so that you can create this relationship with this guiding spirit who's going to be your aid in your dream work. Okay? I do have a guided meditation to help you to go and meet your dream guide. It's a guided visualization journey. You're very welcome to tap into it. Go check that out. But of course, you can do this by yourself, all right? Sit down, meditate, get into that beautiful deep meditation space. Maybe it's going to be after a bit of stretching or a bit of dancing or your run or whatever it is. And take yourself into a forest or a secret garden. Take yourself into a space that feels safe and sacred. Allow yourself to really visualize that path, right? Imagine it, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it. Really indulge in that journey. Feel your feet on the ground, okay? Go all the way down this path and reach this little special space and sit down and call your dream guide to show up, right? The deeper you go into relaxation, the easier it's going to be. You might have to try it more than once if you're not used to working with visual journeying, okay? Especially if you're not used to allowing your imagination to take control. And I think this is where people get very caught up. People don't realize that the medicine and the access point is your imagination. People have been taught to problematize the imagination, like, oh, it's just your imagination, like it's nothing. Yeah, imagination's a doorway, darling. Imagination is a doorway, right? It's a magical doorway. Allow yourself to create the space, and you will soon realize you are no longer creating the space, but it is being received, that it's just something that is unfolding, something moving through you, because that too is what imagination is. That too is what creativity is. Call the dream guide in. Meet your dream guide. Again, don't give up. Do it a few times. And then you have your sacred special place that you can go to over and over. And whenever you're battling, like say you really just, you want extra information about this specific dream that's come up, take yourself into that space. Like maybe you're going to put on some beautiful, deep, meditative music that really takes you into that deep space. Maybe you're going to put binaural beats that might help you, okay? Whatever it is, we're all different. We're all going to have different ways. Some people even like to do visual journey while they're actually standing. That's okay. Maybe you're dancing and like moving your body while you're journeying. Maybe you're lying down. Okay, we're all very different. There isn't really a right or a wrong. Allow the juices of creativity to flow through and open that imagination wide, wide, wide. Okay? Your dream guide will start to aid you and help you in unpacking the symbols of your dreams. So start to create and build that relationship with that dream guide. And we all have one. Well, I believe that personally. And when I met my dream guide, I was so surprised because I met her and I was like, oh, it's you. And she was like, yes, darling. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been dreaming of you since I was 6. She's like, I know. I've been here all along. And I was like, so surprising. You already are it, family. You already are it. So I hope you're feeling excited to begin tapping in to the magic and the medicine of your dream space. Get excited because it's a long haul practice. The different types of dreams that one can have. And so you're referring specifically there to time. I think it's worthwhile saying I'm not like a brain specialist and I'm not a psychologist. I have a keen interest in psychology and dreams, but it's not like I'm an absolute pro in like all of the different brainwaves and the phases of dreams. I am definitely more experienced in terms of just being a dreamer and working with my own dreams. So first, it's important for me to say that I don't know if I can fully answer your question in the capacity that you might want it. Though it's normally between 4 and 5 hours in that we have some of our most potent dreams. In my psychic view, the lighter dreams can be incredibly potent and powerful as well, though for me those feel more like flash visions, like psychic insights. That's just like information. But those like being fully in the dream realm, and again, we can talk about the spirit leaving the body and going to the astral realms, leaving the body behind, having this like silver cord and literally being somewhere else. Like when we're having those light dreams, we're still kind of in the body, but we're receiving information, okay? That's my opinion. But when we actually leave in the body and we're totally somewhere else, we're not with the body at all. The body is in sleep paralysis and the spirit is like way out there and the brain is kind of receiving what the experience of the spirit, the soul is having out there through that silver cord that connects our astral body with our physical body. And for me, those are the dreams where we can really become lucid, where we can really do some interesting things, go to some incredibly interesting places. And for me, that's where the deeper magic happens. There's magic in all of the other dreams as well, but the deeper magic happens in that space. So if you're in bed by like, say, between 9 and 11, you should be in REM sleep around 3. Okay, and of course many of you will know 3 a.m. is witching hour, and this is also an incredibly sacred time in terms of like the veil thinning So there's all sorts of mystical things that happen at that time of night. And if you are someone, and I know this happens a lot to spiritual people, and I go through phases in my life, but if you are someone who gets woken up at 3 a.m., you should pay attention. And one of the things might be, I'm getting woken up, go back into dreamland and be lucid. Either that'll cleanse your room, darling. Clear the room. Either that or ask, who's there? Hello? Do you have a message? I'll listen in dream realm. Back off to sleep, darlings. Do I focus more on getting lucid than to try to understand the dreams? Or do I set intentions to understand the dreams before sleep? Good question. I think the focus within dream work would really depend on what the state of your dream work is currently looking. So, it's kind of like a yoga practice, right? Sometimes I'm traveling and then I don't do yoga for 2 weeks. And then that means when I'm grounded and rooted somewhere again, I need to come back to like some basics, like get up, do some yoga, do some meditation, and like slowly introduce my body back into it. Next thing I know, I can be like full power and doing like crazy pretzel moves again. But when I'm in the space where I'm like not even really remembering my dreams, then I'm like, okay, let's go back to setting intention to recall dreams. Once the dreams start coming through and I'm like, oh, there's some symbols here that are coming through that are interesting, I'd like to understand. Then I'll bring focus to some interpretation. For me, the lucid thing, I don't really try very hard to get lucid anymore. I just pay attention to my dreams and it kind of happens naturally when it's supposed to, when it needs to. I've given you tools, it's wonderful, it works for a lot of people. Play with them, try this one, try that one. They all require some consistency, but you can have your dream checks, like, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Like you could bring that habit into your life, but still be, working on dream recall or working on interpretation. So it just depends where you need to focus in that moment, if that makes sense. But when you become lucid, you don't really need to worry so much about interpretation because you can literally be lucid within it. My dreamscape is obviously different to everyone else's, but for me, when I'm lucid, I'm just like, well, I do understand everything. Everything makes perfect sense to me. And then I'm just like fascinated and I'm going, I'm exploring either my psyche or some ancient library or whatever it is. Very, very interesting stuff. Do dream patterns or dream themes matter? Say you dream a certain kind of dream and the theme keeps recurring. Not necessarily the same dream, but the theme is similar. 100% your dreams are telling you something. Pay attention. Pay attention. Yes, dream themes are very important. I got a symbol plastered in the sky in a dream yesterday, and I find that very interesting. Yes. So, since you've given me some specific pointers there, ask yourself, what does sky mean? Did you have to look up to see it? What does sky symbolize to you? What is in the sky, right? What does that mean? What did the symbol make you feel? How does it look, right? Did it feel like a gift? Did it feel like an omen? What color was the sky? How did it feel? Where were you when you looked up? Or were you in the sky? Were you one with the symbol? What was your perspective? How did it unfold? What color was the symbol? What was the texture? What was the weather? What time of day was it in the dream? All of those are important clues. How do you explain seeing pictures of the dreams of a previous night when you put your head down on the pillow for the night? That's interesting. I would say you have a very nice gift for dream recall, and somehow you have created a sacred space around your pillow and your sleep space that allows you to access the potency of your dreams. And I would say, I hope you work with your dreams, and I hope you're recording your dreams. And also, if you're receiving those images back, that memory is obviously important in some way, and your dreams are trying to tell you something. So I would write them down, meditate on the symbols, find out what it means for you, explore it further, and perhaps even set the intention as you're going to sleep, especially since those symbols just came through to you, like, hello dreams, very excited to dream with you tonight. I'd like to explore a little bit more why these symbols are coming through. What is it you're trying to show me? I'm open to learn. Thank you. And off you go. Yes, morning dreams are very potent, almost like visions. 100%. Yes. Well, they actually are. I mean, really, are dreams not visions? Are visions not dreams? I kind of like to warp it all up a little bit. Like, we think of this waking life as something very solid, but let me tell you, when you're lucid in a dream, it all feels very real. It's pretty real and solid. It doesn't feel like not real. It is all a vision, a hallucination, an imagination. Let's just collapse these things a little bit into each other. Like, let's create a little bit of a quantum entanglement field here. You know what I'm saying? So on the dreamscape too, how do you interpret your dream in respect to yourself? Or you take them at face value? Ooh, always take them a little bit deeper than face value? Definitely. Do I always explore its meaning? Yes. To where I am in life? Yes. I don't necessarily explore every single dream because we have too many dreams to explore all of them. I handpick the ones that feel very important. And I feel like you know when a dream is really loud. It's super vivid, it's super strange, something interesting happened. There's just something about it. Like, I can remember once I watched a luminous yellow goat giving birth in front of me, and that just felt so whoa. That was a very strange image. I've never dreamt about a goat before. I've never seen that shade of yellow before. Now, I knew that was a symbol I wanted to explore because it felt very out of character. Sometimes people call a large part of our dreams is junk dreams. They're just your brain's processing. It's like the chatter of your mind. And I'd like to say, well, even those dreams have an important purpose, but to explore and interpret and journey in that dream a bit deeper, or to actually call for your dream guide and to ask for guidance and to journal on a dream. You want to cherry pick those specific ones, but you will know. You will absolutely know. And yes, quite often it's important in terms of where you are in your life and what you're going through at this time. But again, you should record those dreams because maybe in 3 years' time on this exact same day, that dream's going to be important for that time. You don't know. I feel like I trance, dance, and see, feel, hear messages. Is that lucid dreaming? I think you maybe just answered my question. Yes, with the quantum collapse entanglement. Of course, if we're going to be a little bit more strict about definitions, which, I kind of like to blur everything up, look at the different definitions, and then collapse it all in on each other because that's kind of creation. That's kind of what we're here to do. But if we're going to look at a strict definition of lucid dreaming is when you literally fall asleep and then you start dreaming and then you go, oh my goodness, I'm dreaming. And then you wake up in the dream and then you can do all sorts of things. So that's a very rigid definition of lucid dreaming. And maybe it's a good moment to point out that lucid dreaming is actually very similar to astral projecting. Now, who's heard of astral projecting? Which is when you just jump out and hover out of your body and you have these out-of-body experiences. The only difference between astral projecting is instead of falling asleep first, you just leave your body. You just go straight to the astral realms without losing consciousness. You just stay conscious. So is that lucid dreaming? Well, kind of yes. It's like the difference between psychic and medium. Some people will say being psychic means you go and you look over there and you see, right? You investigate. Where being a medium is being a channel. So spirits come to you and you channel the spirit and the spirit talks to you and the people, they come here. So you're here and there's something coming. So I think if we're going to create those kinds of boundaries, if we want to, of course you could leave your body while you're trance dancing and be somewhere else. And of course you might be receiving and channeling, which, you know, I think is a slightly different kind of magic that's all integrated in one, and we can also call it the same thing if we want to. I've woken up a couple of times in dreams and panicked, like, what do I do now? I can't do anything. It's overwhelming. You know, it's so funny. A lot of people report this, and this is a question I get asked a lot. I actually have a TikTok video addressing that exact same question. Actually, a series of videos, because it's crazy to me because it's never happened to me. I never freak out if I wake up in a dream. I just get excited. Either I jump in the water and swim and go swim with the orcas, or I jump in the sky and I fly, or I take a good look at where I am because it's super fascinating. I've never experienced that on a first-hand experience, so it's just important for me to say this one's not from my own experience. This is from research. So I went and did some research about this, and what people report that you need to do is to just remember that nothing can harm you, you're perfectly safe, and to actually bring grounding practices into the dream. So those of you who practice any grounding practices in waking life, sending a root down, ground into your astral body, because, you know, you're not in your physical body, but you do have a body in the dream realm. And take some deep breaths. You're a meditator, so just... And it's very useful if you have some kind of strong faith. I mean, at the moment, I'm very, very much surrounded by Muslim people and Islam, and they pray 5 times a day. Now, that is powerful spiritual hygiene. But let me tell you, these are the most grounded, powerful, spiritually powerful, faithful people you've ever met, because they're so connected with their God. They're so connected with divinity. They know they're protected. They know that no matter what, like, their faith is that strong. So when you can carry in this sense of like, I am protected, I am powerful, it's just you and your subconscious. I mean, if you're going to enter into your subconscious, or the astral realms, but I kind of think subconscious, astral realms, I mean, let's collapse those two, right? Let's collapse those into each other. Some people are going to really have a problem with me collapsing definitions like this, but but that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. You don't have to if you don't want to. But nothing bad can happen to you unless you think something bad can happen to you. Because, of course, something bad could happen to you. Your subconscious could be a terrifying place, but it's all about what you believe. You're the one who has the power. So if you hold yourself in strength and power, ground yourself, use your breath to call that power in and be like, okay, I got this. I sometimes don't know if this like strong willfulness and like self-knowing is something that can be taught, or if it's something you have to discover, or if it's just something you're born with. And I really want to believe that you can choose it and step into it and be that, but you gotta just do it. And that doesn't mean you don't feel fear. I feel lots of fear. But when I'm faced with fearful things, I go, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta just call in that power and that strength. You are connected to the energy of all that is, right? The same energy that flows through you is the same energy that forged entire galaxies. All of the planets floating around the sun, like that's you, baby. That's powerful. That's amazing, amazing stuff. It's incredible. You're magical. I don't know what I wanted in real life, so then I didn't know what I wanted in lucid dreams. You know, obviously you're the only one who can choose and decide what it is that you want, but the one thing that I find is the common thread when it comes to people being able to find and step into their purpose is that that purpose needs to be aligned with being of service. Because if you are of service in a way that is like nourishing to your soul, you can just keep doing it. That is what keeps me going every single day. Otherwise, it's just soul destroying. I think your dreams are showing you that as well. Like, you want something, you want to feel like what I'm doing has meaning, right? I'm touching lives, I'm changing lives, I'm inspiring people, whatever it is, to be of service. And of service, I don't mean like in a hotel, and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? If you're going to enter that service with the sense of like, I'm going to just bring the best energy here, I'm going to make everyone smile, that's real service. You can be of real service anywhere, in any role. That's the one little key I'd like to give you there. And yeah, happy dreaming, go tap into those dream work practices. Of course, tap into one of the 4 meditations I've provided you on Insight Timer. And of course, if you want to support through donation, deeply grateful for those of you who do. And otherwise, just hit following, leave us some reviews, share it out to friends, tell people about it. And yeah, just go have a magical day, night, morning. Let's collapse time, because for me it's good night. Bye, beautiful people. Thank you for being here.